to be here. Thank you for braving the weather. Thank you for choosing to be in a space that will be familiar for some, but not so much for others. Please know that you are absolutely welcome in this place. For those who do not know me, I'm Reverend Colin Pritchard. I'm the pastor here at the Presbyterian Church in Geneva. And also know that here at the Presbyterian Church in Geneva, we have made significant commitments for racial equity and full inclusion and advocacy for the LGBTQ community. So if there are any questions of welcome in this space, please may those fears be alleviated, and know that we understand what we do here as that which is actually tied to the one that has given us a reason to worship, to gather, a sanctuary, and all those kinds of community things we care about. It is not separate from our faith. It is integral to our faith to let you know that you are welcome here. There's a couple pieces to be aware of as we continue with some language of hospitality. One is the bathroom you might be looking for is back through those doors on your left. The second is, in case of emergency or fire, follow the exit signs. Do not exit the doors that are behind me. You're going to end up in a back hallway. It's sort of Hogwarts. It's not cool. It's going to be a problem. So go that way or that way, and you will be well. To let you know some of the structure of what we are doing this evening, there's some formal beginning, some formal ending, and plenty of opportunity and space for you all to gather and to reflect and to speak if you wish. That will be done here at the lectern. If you are unable to physically get to that space but really want to speak, simply raise your hand and we will find a way to get a microphone to you. A word of thanks for all the folks who have been participating in recognizing, honoring, and finding a way to bring some comfort to Sam's family, and also make some renewed commitments to who we are to be in community and as the family of the holy in this world. So thanks to folks who have done previous events. Thanks to folks who have rallied and conversed. Thanks to folks who have been in contact with Sam's family. Thank you to Rebecca, who initially started off this event, and we decided that it made a whole lot more sense to be inside rather than outside. So if it feels better for that, thank you for you're welcome. It was like, I don't know, I feel like light and heat would be awesome. Yes. You're more than welcome. Yep. There are many, many, many ways to respond to this sort of tragedy and the energy that it elicits in community, and we'll recognize that there's lots of expressions and possibilities of how to use that energy for good and for our own sort of need to speak. We want to see if we can frame this event with a couple of agreements. As we choose to gather here this night, we recognize that this is a vigil, not a protest. When we say it is a vigil, we mean that it is a time to honor Sam's life. It is a time to recognize the grief that is elicited there. It is a time to acknowledge the horror of what took his life from us and some of those pieces that exist in the society still. But what we are not doing is debating policy or seeking further harm on any others this evening. I will tell you, I was in conversation with Sam's mother and sister earlier tonight. They are watching right now. So what we do here is in part to support that family and to put on camera and to put on record part of Geneva as a community saying, we see you, we acknowledge your pain, we commit to the creation of a better world. Can we make that agreement in this space? We will honor, while we are here, Sam in particular, as well as part of the vulnerabilities of his way of being in the world and how that creates more likelihood for the suffering that he so sadly experienced. This is not just about issue, this is about the particular person who was taken from us and taken from his family. It is about the specificity of that life and crime, and then what it represents for how we create a world where that is less possible. Can we agree that in this space we will honor Sam and his family? And finally, this is, in fact, I am a minister, you may have noticed. We are in a sanctuary, you may have noticed. There will be some language of faith and prayer and Christian expression here. That is in no way intended to exclude anyone who is here. That is in no way intended to be an evangelical moment of believe exactly how we believe. It is, however, part of the toolbox we have to frame grief and hope. And I will tell you, it is also part of the request of Sam's family for this evening. So as you hear some prayer, if you hear some hymns, if you hear some songs that speak of a particular religious expression, if that resonates for you, please hold that. May it be good for you. If it does not, we ask only that you create space for that, so that others who might feel it, hear it, resonate, and respond in that way might have a place of comfort. Take what you need, leave what you don't, and we will be okay. Can we agree that in this space, recognizing that this is a sanctuary, I am a pastor, we are in a place set aside that speaks of hope and of a Christ, that is not a pressure, but it is an opportunity, it is a toolbox, not a bludgeon. It is something that Sam's family asked for, and it may be of value this night. Can we agree to let that be? Recognizing those agreements, I will let you know this, that when we get to the space where folks are speaking publicly, you are absolutely welcome and invited to do so. I do need to make you aware of these three things. One is Sam's family is watching. The second is this is being live streamed to anyone who wishes to connect around the world. The third is this is being recorded. So just be aware that what you say and how you present what you present is something that is beyond this room and beyond this time, that is not meant to hinder you from speaking, but it is meant to offer you the opportunity to be aware of who you are speaking to. Fair enough? So if you're waiting out in the hallway, come on in. A few years ago, I was looking over Seneca Lake as the dawn was happening and feeling very grateful that there was going to be enough light to see. I didn't know what the day was going to hold. I didn't know if it was going to be good. I didn't know if it was going to answer all my questions, but I knew it was beautiful. I knew it was hopeful, and I knew it was enough. I hope during our time this evening, during this vigil and honorable opportunity to recognize Sam Nordquist, his passing and his life, that we will find enough light to see. There is just enough light to see. The day has begun. Oh, the possibilities of the Holy One. Linger in love, stay just a moment longer. In your weakness, know that we are together stronger. Questions and wonder, answers far away. There is beauty in the asking today. Holy Spirit, come, lighten the burden of each and every one of your beloved in this place. Amazing grace, and just enough light to see. There is just enough light to see. We each have a place in the story and the glory of today. Rise up, oh children, come and follow me. The Savior of the world is here if we have eyes to see. Holy Spirit, come. Lighten the burden of each and every one of your beloved in this place. Amazing grace and just enough light to see. There is just enough light to see. There is just enough light to see. There is just enough light to see. So friends, we open with a prayer I adapted from the work of the remarkable Reverend Douglas McKelvey. It is a prayer he wrote on the occasion of someone being lost to violence. Not like this, O Judge of all, not like this. This is not the way we would write the story's end for one of your children. Cut down by intentional acts of unnecessary violence, so senseless, so brutal, so long, and so cruel. It is a crime, a loss, a shock, an evil, and a tragedy all in one for Sam's life to be cut short like this. To have to grieve a death that did not have to be. The taking of Sam's life is a clear violation of your good commandment, O Lord. O Christ, where is the justice that will ever make this right when no one can restore what has been taken? Our lives will not continue as before. We cannot be so happy or careless or carefree. This loss and the manner of this loss permeates everything with pain and rage and fear. We cannot change what happened, or make sense of it, or find some lesson in it, or force the wheels of justice to spin to a satisfying end. Be our refuge and our shelter. O Lord of light and love, be our shield and our defender. Hold us in this hour. Hold us through this dark night when death's shadow obstructs the light. Cradle and carry us through this veil of sorrows and deliver us to higher ground. Let justice roll down. Lift our heads that we might see evidence of your mercies in our lives and in this world. And when we are too weary to walk alone, empower us with your promise. We rightly feel rage, O Lord, against those who have taken Sam's life. For there is no call or cause for this murder that will ever be acceptable or ever be made right. In the deep, grounded places of our hearts, we also know there is no freedom in fanning the flames of rage. We do not deny the anger we feel this day, yet we do not wish to feed the fire that would in time consume us with bitterness. We would be honest in our ache, even as we strive to not become the walking sum of our pain. We must not seek to cause harm because of our suffering. Our woundedness will not further the brokenness of this world. Should you hold us in love, O Lord, hold us here in love. now shape us, even through this ache and sorrow, into those who do not let our pain harden into hate, but who instead are made more tender over time. Now make your redeeming mercies manifest, O Christ. Take this great evil, and by the unseen movements of your Spirit, subvert this act of violence. Restore us all into the commitment and communion of your beloved community. Holy Spirit, hover now over the chaos of this broken world, this broken situation, and our broken hearts, and from them summon new hope. From fields seeded with mortal sorrows, let us one day reap a harvest of immortal joys. From this stony soil of human hatreds, let fountains of divine love burst forth. Let streams of gladness run and pool. Let shoots of verdant mercy root and bloom over all this dark and weary land. Let your eternal glories rise, radiant as a dawning sun, dispelling a black and tragic night. From this very heart of death, O God, call forth new and everlasting life. Amen. And so, friends, there is a space for you all to speak, remembering our agreements and the purpose and format of this particular gathering on this particular night. Any who wish are invited to come on forward. That microphone is live. If there are those here, and I'm pretty sure there are some who may wish to speak, come on forward. And you need not raise your hand, just line up and the space is yours for a while.
Good evening. My name is Shauna O'Toole. I'm a lesbian trans woman. Sam was my brother, a brother I never had the chance to meet in person. It would be wonderful if all of us could be outside the tomb waiting for Jesus of Nazareth to say, "Samuel, arise," like what he did to Lazarus. We will have to wait on that. What's left is the work. And it's not just for the trans community, it's for all of us who are broken, who are hurt, who are lonely, simply wanting to be loved, simply wanting to be accepted. I want you to take a moment and look around at the people here gathered. And for those who are watching live stream, also look at those who are around you. This is the body of the Almighty. The work we are called to do is to bring hope and joy to those who are suffering. We can do this in Sam's name. We can do this and move forward, not in anger, but in service, in hope, in joy, and in love. So let us begin the work. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. I'm a local first responder in our community. I'm also a very big ally for the LGBT community. I want to say that when I moved to Geneva 10 years ago, I was welcomed from Rochester. Anybody that's familiar with Rochester knows the craziness that happens out there. And even I, in my career, and in the 10 years I've been in Geneva, the 15 I spent in Rochester, I've never seen anything like this. This has completely destroyed our community. This is not what we represent. This is not what we are about. When I joined this community, I was welcomed with open arms and love, and that is all I wanted for Sam. And I want that same thing for Sam's family. I want Sam's family to know that we all stand together with Sam. We stand beside his family. We demand justice. And if this was anyone else in our community, we'd be standing 10 toes down doing the same thing. But Sam wanted love, and that's all he wanted. Sam was taken from us, and that's not fair. Sam deserved to live. I read a tribute that his school released today, and it was a very detailed tribute, and it was a true tribute to who Sam was. Sam was the life of the party, and I've watched videos. I've read so much on this. I've been in contact with the sister. I have a couple of friends that have been following this case closely. This means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to us. And to Sam's family, I just want to let you know this is not what Geneva, New York represents. This is not what Canandaigua represents. We are diverse. We are a very diverse community, and we love hard. And just like we're fighting now, we fight just as hard as we love. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
My name is Dana. I did not know Sam. He was my brother. I am angry that this disgusting evil took him from us. Anger motivates me, and I want to love and protect my chosen family more fiercely. The people responsible, I hate what they did. One day they will meet their maker, of that I am certain. I am in a deep, dark ocean, and I'm struggling to tread water. I am holding on to hatred, and it's heavy. I don't have to let go. I also don't have to shoulder the burden alone anymore. I offer my prayers to Sam and his family. I love you.
Anybody's thinking about it, now's the time. I know that lady, where are you? This is not the end of your opportunity to speak, but there's a little pause, and we'll recognize the pause. While we pause together, I invite you to imagine what it means to not have to come up with hope on your own. What it means to not have to walk on your own. What it means to be fed in community and in beauty, in love and in grace. What it means to come to the table. Come to the table of grace. Come to the table of grace. This is God's table, the place yours and mine. Come to the table of grace. Come to the table of love. Come to the table of love. This is God's table, the place yours and mine. Come to the table of love. Come to the table of joy. Come to the table of joy. This is God's table, the place yours and mine. Come to the table of joy. Come to the table of hope. Come to the table of hope. This is God's table, the place yours and mine. Come to the table of hope. Come to the table of grace. Come to the table of grace. This is God's table, the place yours and mine. Come to the table of grace. The table of grace.
But I can say this, that Sam, from what I saw of the tribute to him, was obviously an amazing and wondrous human being, and his death is a loss to everyone. And although I did not know him, and although I don't think that, to my knowledge, any of the members of the Pride group knew him, he is a brother and a son, and we're heartbroken. So I don't know if that helps at all, but just to say, there are people out there who are like you and support you, and, well, what happened to you was just wrong. And I'm sorry to Sam's family. Thanks.
My entire career has been working with young people. I never had the honor of meeting Sam, but I have worked with so many young people whose journeys have been challenged, finding their way, determining their identity, seeing their light. When I look out at all of you here, Sam would be proud to know that his life touched so many hearts. To his family, thank you for Sam. To all of you, know that you are a thread in a mosaic that we are creating. And all we see is that tangled side where our threads come together and knots are there. But we have to keep moving. We have to keep believing that diversity is beautiful and important in our world. Sam, honor him in your life and be an example to our young as we move forward. Thank you.
I didn't know Sam either. I never had a chance to meet him, but just from what I heard, he was an amazing person. Rebecca was born and raised in Geneva, and she put this together because she wanted people to know that what happened is in Geneva. It's a very loving, caring community. People really care about each other. It's really tragic what happened. I'd like everybody to look at the person. I invite everybody to look at the person on your left and tell them you're cared about. Turn to the right. Same thing, you're cared about. People need to understand, whether you call him God, Creator, that he set it up for everybody to love and care about each other, and this is not the vision he had. And it's really sad that it went down this way. I have so much planned to say, and it's just gone a different way, but two things left. One is, when Michael Jackson has said, you know, I want to make a change in the world, and starting with me, the man in the mirror. And I think if each one of us could look at ourselves and say, what can I do today to make a change, that the world would be a much greater place. Have a little poem. It was one of my brother's favorite. It was at Becky's mom's on the card. Give me a second, my phone's acting up now. And I think this is what Sam would say to each of you if he was here. Do not stand in my grave and weep. I am not there, I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond in the glistening snow. I am the sun of the ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awake in the morning hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circle flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand in my grave and cry, I am not there, I did not die.
My name is Tracy Matrano, and in one way or another, I've been part of the LGBTQ community before it even had that nomenclature dating back to the mid-1970s. And I grew up in Rochester, so I know long before you were born, probably. And my hair was almost your color. I didn't come here thinking I would speak, but I am moved to speak. And I am moved by the emotions I feel in this room and in this community, and knowing that Sam's family may be watching or watch it sometime. I first want to express our sorrow at his passing and the gift that you gave to our community in his life. And I have a child named Sam. And so my heart goes out to you. And I will pray for you every night. As I was listening to people, I remembered it's not really a poem, it's at the Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington. It is the words of the Lutheran pastor Martin Niemöller, and maybe just with that, many of you will already recognize and know that which I am about to speak. First, they came for the communists. And now, what was that during our recent presidential election? The Marxist? First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a communist. And then they came for the socialist. And I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. And then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews. And I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. I'm sharing this memorial with the converted. You are here to speak out, whether you are an ally for LGBTQ, part of the community, but you are here, and we must all be here for this community, for Sam, and for all that we are facing in this country today. Thank you.
We have a reunion. Are you coming to speak?
Hi, everybody. My name is Mariana. I've been living in Geneva for 21 years. Born and raised, I have a 2-year-old daughter, growing up in the same community we're all growing up in. My hands are sweating. I'm nervous. I have stage fright. I'm not a singer or a rapper, but I'm here to say that this is our community. We're all here together. We got to see each other one day, every day. Sometimes we see each other, sometimes we don't. This is a tragedy that happened in our community. This is something that I never, ever would have thought happened. Sorry, y'all. I've seen it all. I've seen fights, I've seen robberies, I've seen the drugs, I've seen the street life, but I've never seen this, ever. I never would have thought something so close to home, somewhere around the block, that this would happen. Like, I'm lost for words, but I just want to say that if you see something, say something. Stop being afraid. Stop being afraid. Go to the police. Let them say you're a snitch. Let them say whatever you want. At least you know you're saving somebody's life. Don't let this happen again. And sorry to Sam's family.
Okay, I'm here to represent the Reconciling Ministries of the Methodist Church of Seneca Falls, New York. FEAR stands for false expectations appearing real. We all, like it was said earlier, we all need to speak up and say for the injustice that's going on in this world. Violence is not the answer. I don't care if you know the person or not. If we see something that is morally wrong like that, we all need to stand up and speak our voices. Thank you.
Good evening. We are gathered here today not only to mourn the loss of Sam, but to reflect on what happened to him. The brutal death of someone who was loved by so many is truly heartbreaking. Sam's life was taken far too soon, but remembering him, we have the chance to honor his spirit, his humanity, and the sense of community that brought us all together today. We may not have known Sam personally, but the impact of his loss has resonated deeply in each of us. Strangers, friends, neighbors, all united by grief and a desire for justice. It is in moments like these that we are not reminded of our shared community, but our ability to come together and stand for what is right. Sam's death is a call to action, a reminder of the importance of showing kindness, compassion, and respect to every individual, regardless of the differences that sometimes divide us. As we stand here tonight, we cannot help but notice how many faces are in this crowd. Faces of people who didn't know Sam, but we are here because his story matters, because we understand that what happened to him could happen to anyone. This is our fight to ensure that no one else faces such violence or injustice. We may not have the power to undo what has happened, but we do have the power to be the change that Sam would have wanted to see. We must ensure that the next time we hear of any injustice, we don't stay silent. We must lift each other up, look out for one another, and work to build a world where every individual is valued and safe. So tonight, as we remember Sam, let's not forget the strength in unity. Grief is not a solitary journey. It's a great connector, reminding all of us that we are human, bound by love and loss, and shared need for healing together.
Hi, my name is Susanna. I grew up in Romulus, New York. I'm a pansexual woman. I did not know Sam. I want to say to Sam's family, on behalf of Romulus, on behalf of Geneva, on behalf of Canandaigua, on behalf of this region, we are so sorry. This should never happen to anyone. An act so heinous, so brutal. Ever since hearing the news, I've just felt like this grave-like space in my chest. And I want to let myself feel that, because in the face of atrocities, it's normal to feel deeply. I also want to say thank you to the trans community, for the trans people in my life, for showing me what it means to live authentically, even at great cost, and to show me what it means to question, to be willing to question norms, and to live in one's truth in a way that I've never seen before. I'm so grateful to the trans community for modeling that authenticity, like lived authenticity. How I've been processing so far is feeling motivated to let fewer things slide. There are people in my life who do not support the trans community, not in an active way, but I know their views, and it's time for me to have conversations with those people versus to let years of connection be a balm over something really festering and problematic. I'm also feeling called to connection. I feel like loneliness is everywhere. People want to be in connection with others and want to feel seen, and I'm feeling called to try and emit more of a loving frequency versus waiting to receive it. Lastly, I'm just feeling more urgency around what needs to be said, what needs to be done, anything, because any of our lives could be taken from us at any moment. And Sam's death will not go in vain. Thank you.
Hi friends, my name is Mitchell Leet, and I am a trans man who was born, raised, transitioned, all here. This is home, this is my community, and I am so deeply sorry that Sam was not able to be folded into it the way he deserved to be. I urge you, if you haven't had a chance today, to read Face to Face Academy's remembrance of their brother, their classmate, their former student, their alum. He was a community leader. He was very well known for his hugs, I'm hearing. And he was not a stranger to the violence and the hate that we face in this country. He had a classmate named Olivia who was killed by gun violence, and he was part of organizing the remembrance of her. It sounds, and I'm sorry to say I never got to know him, but it sounds like he was a kindred spirit. He certainly was my brother, and I wish we had done better by him. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Heidi. I live in Canandaigua, and I'm a bisexual, non-binary person. I often turn to poetry when times are hard, and there's a poet named Andrea Gibson who wrote a poem called Ashes, specifically for people that have experienced violence in the queer community. The night I was torn from the pages of their Bible and burned alive, my ashes came down like snow, and a girl who had never seen my face saw me falling from the sky and laid down on her back to make an angel in the powder of my bones. From heaven I watched her, though my eyes were still flame and my ribs were still blue. They didn't win, I whispered, as her arms built my wings. They didn't win. Look at that moon. It is a pebble in my hand. Tonight I could skip it across that fog-drunk sea to the lashes accordion in the night. And all they would know of hate is that it couldn't beat the love out of me, that when they dropped me to the grave, I fell like a bucket into a well and came up full, carrying my lover's name into the skin of a weeping willow that had spent its entire life laughing at the rain. Hold me like a lantern, staircase my spine. When they bring the children to my funeral to scream faggot at the dust, tell them I was born into their casket, but I wouldn't pull the splinters from my heart any more than Christ would have pulled the thorns from his crimson head. They come 1,000 times with their burning match and their gasoline and their hungry laws and their empty mouths full of prayers to that God that greeted me at his gates with his throat full of trumpets and his tears full of shame. At his trembling palms collected the cinder of the children's crime. I know what holy is. I know that the soul is shaped like a bowl. I know the lies when we try to fill it with it, and we spill too often the orchids inside. But my lover's shoes were tied with guitar strings, and when I walked beside, there was a silo in my chest. There was a field full of sun. There was a river full of gold that we left to pick our sweethearts from trees that kept uprooting tombstones so the names of the dead would crumble into poems. Write me down like this. Say my ashes never made the news. Say the jury was full of shotguns, and say the snow that fell on the tip of your tongue and refused to melt away. Say this to the kids hiding their heartbeats from their father's fists. I painted the garden of my kiss. I opened the night with my teeth. I loved so hard that when they press their ear to the track, the train they hear coming will still be my chest, a rumbling harpoon, a sky they cannot bury. Look at that moon. I am a pebble in her hand, a harmonica held to the mouth of the river where nothing ever burns.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alexander. If you haven't noticed, I've been the one that's screaming, trans lives matter, no justice, no peace. This mic is crazy. I am a locally known Rochester trans man. I've been in Rochester for a long time. I'm 36 years old. I'm a part of an organization called NGMT, Next Generation Men of Transition. My brother was here yesterday at the other vigil. I was unable to make it, and today he is in New York City fighting the good fight that we always do. I am filled with anger. This has been going on for years. Everyone in this room knows it. They have been hunting us down for years. And the fact that it hits so close to home makes it unbelievably crazy. In our own backyard, absolutely unacceptable. I have no other words except stop killing us. What do I do with my life matter to you? What is me living my life? We wear these hoodies all the time. I choose myself to survive. We're tired of surviving. We want to live our lives freely. Why can't we be left alone? Why do we have to hide in the shadows? Because people are uncomfortable of the unknown. Why do we have to live in fear? Why not educate yourselves and understand where we come from, why we are the way we are? It's not a disease. We're not going to sneeze on you, you're going to catch it. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes for some people. But this is who we are. We live our lives freely, just like the rest of you. Again, stop killing us. We're not going anywhere. We've been here for over 50 years. I hope that everyone in this room, like the young lady said over there, please stand up for us. Stand up, fight back. This is the only way we're going to get by this. This is the only way we're going to be able to live in unity. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Hi, my name is Diana Martins. You could probably see, I am trans. When I read the first news article on Friday, I had to take quite a few moments, but afterwards I started reading every single news article I could find, and I was looking for a few things. The first one was, did the news article refer to the horrible murder and torture of Sam, or did it refer to the horrible situation? Those are very different language. I was heartened to see that people were talking about the horrible murder and torture because that acknowledges the humanity of the person who was affected. It is very easy to other someone, even passively, even without trying to be hostile to them, to see them not as a person, but something that happened far off. And especially in the face of all this rhetoric we're seeing, where we are referred to as predators, where we're referred to as perverts, where we're referred to as sad, mentally ill people. All of this rhetoric, and when this rhetoric doesn't get pushed back at hard, it adds to the inertia of just living in a modern society. And it makes it easier for this kind of stuff to happen, for this kind of stuff to happen to us, for this kind of stuff to happen to other marginalized communities. And it's important to see people as people. And I don't really have anything else to say on that.
So to build on that idea for just a moment, do look around. Like actually look around, stop looking at me. And if you see another human being, raise your hand. All right. So here's one of the things I would encourage us to take seriously in society, in our practice, in the ways in which we believe. Know that if you're one of those people who found yourself sitting next to another human being, you found yourself in proximity to divinity. If you didn't catch that, let me say it again. If you found yourself sitting next to another human being, you found yourself in proximity to divinity. Please do know that there are absolutely voices of division and hatred and othering that are ever more prevalent and utterly overwhelming in the days in which we live and in the social media environment in which we find ourselves in the political reality of our nation. And there are some pockets of beauty. There are places of community. There are sanctuaries of safety. And there are those who would recognize the proximity of divinity and appreciate the presence of all God's children. Please know that at our best in this place, we strive to be one of those places. We recognize we are not the only, nor could we possibly handle that burden. But I encourage each and every one of you to find those sanctuaries of celebration, those places of recognition, the spaces where someone first wants to know your story before they make any choices about who you may be. To demonize is a cruelty and a sin. To humanize is a sacred activity. What's your name? What's your story? We will not cease speaking Sam's name. And when we tell his story, may we not just tell the story of his end, but let us tell the story of his courage to make it a long ways towards really beginning to fully realize the divinity that brought him into this life. When I was talking to his mother, Linda, she asked for two things tonight. She asked that I read aloud to you all what was literally tattooed on Sam's forearm. Please hear me. She asked me to read aloud to you all what was literally tattooed on his forearm. And it is this: For God so loved the world, he gave his only Son, so that everyone who believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life. She also asked me to sing this song. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. It was grace that taught my heart to fear, grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. through many dangers, toils, and snares, have already come. It was grace that brought me safe this far, and it is grace who will lead me home. Well, when we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing our God's praise than when we first begun. 'Cause it's amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see.
My name is Concetta Valeri, and I'm an educator in this community, and I've been an educator here for almost 25 years. I didn't intend on speaking. I'm nervous, just like the girl said she was. Sam could have been a former student of mine. Sam could have also been a friend of my daughter's or a friend of my grandson's. And through all the years in this community as a teacher, I've experienced so much diversity. I've also recently experienced cruelty. And if I can say anything to the children of this community and the children growing up, please be kind. Please be kind to each other. I'm never going to get Teacher of the Year, or Mother, or Girlfriend, or Wife of the Year. But the one thing I need to tell everyone around here is, please be kind to each other. Despite who you love, despite what you look like, despite what you're doing, please be kind.
Hello, I'm Rachel, and I felt moved to come. I'm from the Rochester area. And what moved me to come was when I saw Sam's graduation picture and his smile and eyes and hope for the future. And I wanted to share my condolences and my broken heart with Sam's family. Nothing can replace your loss, but my prayer is that in time, Sam's life shall be seen to have had the kind of impact that angels and saints have had. I'm the mother of 3 teenagers. I'm also elected to a public school board. And because of that graduation photo, it made me think of the thousands of students that are in my community, the thousands of young people who are here in this community, and to implore us as a people, as a community, as adults mainly who are responsible to show our young people the way we ought to treat each other, that we would love one another, that we would include and accept those who are finding a hard time in this world, whether it be because of being marginalized or living in poverty or being from another country, that we would all show what it means to look at another person and see their humanity, that they're created in God's image like you and I. And one last thing. Our public schools need your support because it is the only place that is available to educate each and every single student, and it is responsible to educate each and every single student in the community. And because of that, our public schools need to be a place of excellence, of opportunity, and of acceptance of all manner of difference. And we need to show that way as adults and to our kids. And so please, please show up to a local school board meeting. Tell them that you appreciate that there are books in the libraries that show kids that they are accepted and loved and have a bright future, no matter their identity. And once more to Sam's family, thank you for giving us the light that Sam was. And I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you.
My name's Eileen Holling. I taught in the Geneva School District for 35 years. When I first moved here, I grew up in a situation where everybody had similar names. I went to a Catholic school. Everybody looked like me. When we raised our hands to answer a question, we were going to say the same thing that the teacher said. We were all alike. And I moved here to Geneva, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I love teaching in the Geneva School District. And it hurts so much when I hear people put the district down. More than learning algebra or Spanish or anything, learning to get along. Way more important. Way more important. And I also believe, right now, to be silent is to agree with people who are trying to ruin our country and go against people. It's ignorance. It's not knowing somebody. That's why public schools are wonderful, because that's where you get to know people who are not exactly the same as you, and you grow as a person. I came to the school district when I was 22 years old, and I retired when I was 58, and guess who grew the most? Me. Not those kids. They taught me a lot. So speak up. Don't be silent. Get out there and cheer for those people that maybe are a little different than you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ilana. I, like so many other people here, did not know Sam or plan to speak up, but I wanted to go over something that I think is really important, My first interaction I've ever had with a trans person was my sister's best friend when she was, I think, middle school age, so I was maybe 9. And I got the experience to watch them in a senior project because they were a lot older than me. And in that, this gorgeous black trans woman stood in front of a stage and said, I am 15, I am half the life expectancy I'm supposed to get statistically. Whether I'm killed by cops or somebody else on the street, I'm supposed to die by 30. And I don't really remember all of the other identities that were happening in that senior project at the time. But all I know was I was around 11, maybe 9, and I didn't know what that meant. My sister's friend just said they could die. And I was 11. So I was also a part of a school that I'm so thankful for, because around the time I was in 6th, 7th grade, I saw people stand up in front of an entire school during a morning meeting and say, hey guys, these are the pronouns I'm trying out this week. And everybody clapped. Or they would go, hey guys, I finally came out and this is my girlfriend. And it was just so joyous. And this is so upsetting, because nobody should be killed by their identity. But bringing it back to my sister's friend, who of course now I have grown up in that school, have so many trans friends and who've seen so many journeys and seen the light of their face when they're like, I'm 18, I can finally buy my own hormones. I can do this, I can make it through. And I love them so much, and just seeing their smiles is great. But when that friend came out to my sister, they threw her a party. They celebrated her. And I'm terrified that I don't know where they are now, because if anything happened to her, I would be devastated. So I'm just really excited to finally try to get a part to America or this country where we can actually just celebrate people again, because a journey is a journey no matter whose it is, and I'm just looking forward to seeing that.
Hi, my name is James, and normally when I'd be speaking, as my parents would say, it'd be pure sarcasm. But I can say right now, everything I'm about to say, I can say with a heavy heart. This action, this horrific crime, was bred out of hate, ignorance, and intolerance, something that should not exist. And in the moments of me learning about it, all I felt was hate, anger, and rage. But in the moments after, I realized why I had just learned it. I'd received a text from my boyfriend, who is trans, and I've been dating for 3 years. I can't imagine a world without him that's taken in such the same way as Sam. Every day when I look him in the eyes, I see a glimmer that used to be of pain and grievance with the life that he's been given, turn more happy as people have accepted him more. But the day I learned of what happened to Sam, I only saw pain once again. I don't want to see that again, and I think that there is change that should be done, but I'm happy to see that right now the people standing and sitting in this room are trying to help. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is David. I was born and raised in Canandaigua. I have the distinct and amazing privilege to work here in Geneva as an advocate for social and for economic justice. And I want to start here just by saying that in my day job, that I was part of the safety net that failed Sam. And for that, I am very sorry. I want to direct everyone's attention to the pamphlets that have gone around. If you haven't received them yet, I'm sure they will get to you. What is being demanded, and what is, I think, a bare minimum to expect here is that some justice be done by Sam. And that may look like a tough and fair conviction. It may look like memorials and scholarships. It may take many forms, but it's the types of justice that we can only bring after the fact aren't enough. You know, I'm moved, and I agree that these communities that we live in around this area, in Geneva, in Canandaigua, are so full of love, but love is not enough on its own to have saved Sam, because it didn't. Real love is to seek justice, and that comes in many forms. And my bread and butter day work is in and out of the court system, and that is sometimes justice, but often not. So there's so much love in this room. I urge that each of you and each of us, you know, in your day, tomorrow, the next day, a year from today, 10 years from today, you take, when you can, a chance to push the love that you feel and the love that is real and that is connecting all of us and connects all of us to Sam, the love that brought Sam here, and you metabolize that into justice, that you take the anger that is right to feel. It's crushing, and you take it and you metabolize that again into love and into justice. And again, from the bottom of my heart to Sam, to Sam's family, and just on behalf of the places I grew up, that I am so glad to have come back to do the things I do. I'm sorry. That's as much as I can say, and that, Sam, you deserve better. So thank you all for also being here.
Well, thank you. One of the things I've learned in years of public speaking and leadership is you can let people out early and they love you. That does not mean we need to come to an immediate end to this experience, but it also does mean that if we are at a natural end for this experience, that's okay. I will tell you that when we are finished here, this space is yours until 8 o'clock. When we wrap up sort of the formality of the service, we will cut the mics, but not the hospitality. I will ask, and my poor congregation is getting a little bit used to me, but if you're a member of this congregation, would you please stand up? Now, yeah. Oh, don't sit down yet. The reason I've had, I'm serious, don't sit down yet. The reason I've had these people stand up is if, when this experience is over, you have questions about what this place is, what a place that identifies as Christian and communal, that identifies as faithful in pursuing the way of Christ can look like, and as a space that is wholly affirmational and welcoming to all of God's children. I'm not going to be able to talk to all of you, but these people are members of this community, and whether they volunteered or not, they'll be glad to talk to you. You can have a seat now. Let me ask, are there any others who do wish to speak at this time? Yeah. Absolutely. You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Ben. I'm a big crybaby, so I wasn't sure if I was going to do this, but everybody else is kind of facing their fears, so I feel like if I struggle a little bit through this, we'll be all right. So I'm a trans man from Penyan. When I graduated, I ran away to New York City to try to find myself. And I came back because this is home, ultimately. When I left, I didn't think I would come back. I thought this was a rotten, terrible place. And then I missed it. And I missed the people. And I missed the community. And when the expressions of love started coming out for Sam from his family, from his friends, from his classmates, from his teachers, the one thing that really struck me was the smile. They kept going back to Sam's smile. And I think right now, especially in a time when the world at large and even the LGBTQ community itself are thinking and feeling and sending messages that there is no hope, there is no joy, there can only be anger. I think Sam's joy and Sam's selflessness and Sam's happiness speak volumes to that and put a light into the darkness. And I think taking that anytime a life is taken is terrible, but to take someone so full of life and so necessary and so needed just hits in a way that's a little bit different for me, I think. Despite all the similarities, despite it being close to home, I think the thing that really, really has been hitting me the hardest is, again, who Sam was as a person. And I'm just so grateful to his family and to his friends and to his teachers and classmates that chose to share him with us. So that's what I'm choosing to leave with and to move forward with, is I'm gonna hold on to Sam's hope, and I'm gonna hold on to Sam's smile, and I'm going to replicate that when and where I can. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Anna. I wasn't planning on speaking either. I'm a non-binary lesbian. I don't consider myself trans, but I know a lot of non-binary people do. I haven't lived in this area very long. I grew up in Marion, not terribly far from here. I moved to Bologna about almost a year ago now, and I first heard about Sam last week. My girlfriend had told me that a man had been tortured in Canandaigua for months. I remember thinking, how? How could it have happened? How could someone do that to another human being? How could it happen so close to my home? It wasn't until a few days ago that I heard he was trans. My mother took me and my girlfriend out to lunch just because. My mom, almost in tears, had told the exact same story that my girlfriend had, except that he was trans. It hit me even closer to home, closer to my heart. I still ask how. How could someone see someone so kind, so loving, and even think of causing them harm? How could someone see someone just living their life and believing that life should not continue? Sam's life deserved to continue. And we know Sam was loved. We know by seeing all the people in this room, most like me, who probably haven't ever met him, but still have love for him. We know he is loved because of his community. We know he is loved because of his family. As someone who is part of the LGBTQ community, I know how important and life-saving it is to have love and support from your family, especially your mother. Sam deserved to continue his life with his loving family, his sister, and his mother. My heart is with his family. I cannot imagine the agony they are going through right now, and it is so hard to not sit in a pool of hate and anger. What keeps me going, keeps me from sitting in that pool, is knowing the only thing stronger than hate is love.
My boots are feeling real heavy. I feel like my whole body has kept me from coming up here, and yet somehow some crazy little spark said, no, Asha, your voice matters. My name is Asha. I use user pronouns, and I recognize that by naming myself and claiming myself that I've also outed myself. So everything in my body says, no, don't do that, it's not safe. I have lived in Ontario County since 2011. How many of you know my face? Hi, honey. One person, one beautiful human. There's a reason for that. I'm non-binary, I'm trans, and I do not feel safe being out. I serve my community. I serve my trans siblings as a therapist, mostly up in Rochester, but also across New York State. So I'm coming up here to speak and tremble a bit, both of my own voice and my own experience, but also the experience of my comrades that I serve. And in speaking that, I want to speak to the fear. The fear has been there. We've been talking about it since I've been a therapist. It's probably existed long before that. I know that it's existed in my bones. The fear has been so much louder since 2016. It has only gotten louder since November. And I don't know what to do. My training as a therapist says, hey, I can assess for safety. I can try to make sure that you have a home, that you have community. But what I can't do is guarantee safety. I can't guarantee it for myself. I can't guarantee it for my comrades, and I can't guarantee it for any of the people that I love and any of the people that I serve. And I don't know what to do with that. I need your help because I can't do it. No one person can do it alone. I also want to speak to the resiliency that is in the bones of our community. Trans people have always been here, and we have always survived. There has never been a time, and there never will be a time. They cannot legislate us out of existence. It's not possible. It's not possible. It would not be fair to speak and use my voice without also recognizing the identities that I don't share with Sam, at least the ones that I know about. I'm very white, you may have noticed, you may not have noticed. Sometimes we don't notice that thing. Being a white, non-binary person and someone who passes pretty well as cis, I have so much privilege. I have safety. You might not know on the street that I'm trans. You might not know of the fear that's in my body and in my bones, but it doesn't mean it's not there. But it also means I have a measure of safety. How do we protect our siblings, our trans siblings who have other marginalized identities, who are BIPOC, people of the global majority? How do we protect trans folks who are also disabled? The folks who couldn't make it here today because maybe they had walkers, maybe they were really scared of slipping on that ice. I mean, I certainly am. How do we bring in our community and uplift trans voices? I've heard some really amazing voices here tonight. I'm curious about the voices we haven't heard. Please, uplift our voices. Don't speak over us. Don't speak for us. Sometimes, if you know we're trans, we don't want you to out us. That's not safe. The number of times that I have been in escalating situations because an ally has been like, hey, you used Asha's wrong pronouns, please don't do that shit. Please don't do that. It's right? So there's plenty of stuff out there on the internet and maybe in some local groups about how to be a good ally and a good accomplice. I believe in you. It's a growth edge, right? It's a growth edge. I'm still doing it myself. Just because I'm trans, just because I'm non-binary does not mean that I don't mess up, does not mean that I'm perfect. I implore all of us to learn to do better and to really lean into that growth edge. Sam, most beloved, my brother, your life mattered. Your life should not have been taken from you. And Sam, your voice may have been silenced by violence that apparently came from within our queer community, which makes it even more horrific. Sam, your voice may have been silenced, but we now can share your story, can share your smile, the beauty that you brought into the world. That is our work now. Thank you.
At the end of the day, with nothing more to say, tears and laughter fading away. Before we go, you all must know this one thing for sure. Love remains, whatever else is true. Love remains for you. That's your part. Love remains, whatever else is true. Love remains for you. Shared a melody, a couple of rhymes, an hour or two of sacred time. Our backs may turn and our feet may walk away, but love remains, whatever else is true. Love remains for you. I'm not kidding, it's your part. Love remains, whatever else is true. Love remains for you. May the wind be at your back, joy be by your side, and hope never lack. May you always see the light that's burning here. At the end of the day, with nothing more to say, tears and laughter fading away. Before we go, we all must know this one thing for sure. Love remains, whatever else is true. Love remains for you. Love remains, whatever else is true. Love remains for you. Feel free to look at a neighbor. Love remains, whatever else is true. Love remains for you. Sing it, I'm going over top. Love remains. Love remains for you. Love remains. Love remains for you. Watch what happens when the music quits. Love remains, whatever else is true. Love remains for you. Last time. Love remains, whatever else is true. Love remains for you. And so to Sam's mother and sisters and family. For those who are watching as we come to the end of this service, just go ahead and stay standing up. You're okay. We do say his name. It was Sam Nordquist. We do acknowledge these two truths: that hate is too big a burden to bear, so we can decide to carry love, and that we cannot give all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good we can give. And so as you go forth from this place, may you go forth willing to build a beloved community. Or if you go forth from this place, may you go forth willing to become sanctuary. As you go forth from this place, may you bear witness with your voice with your presence, with your kindness, and with your care. If you don't know the name of your neighbor, you have work to do. But if you do know the name of your neighbor, learn their story and remember that you have proximity to divinity. As you go, may God bless you and keep you. May God's face be made to shine upon you and grant you all the peace that you will need this day and forevermore. Service is ended, but this space and this community are yours. Thank you for coming.